Yep.
Welcome back to season 2 of Blended Family Matters,
How about that?
where authentic conversations and practical wisdom come together to bring hope to every household.
Absolutely.
I'm your girl, Alicia.
What's up? Milo back with you. Thank you for joining us for the second season, the first episode. We're so excited about
Yes.
This first episode, we're so excited about it because we have someone that's near and dear that we love dearly that wants to come on with us and share her story, share her victory. And we're not going to just keep talking and talking. we're going to let her say some stuff. So with that, do you want to introduce our guest?
Well, before we introduce our guest, we have a cameo, as you guys can see.
A little head.
A little head right here. This is Mercy. Mercy, please.
She don't know we're going to edit
Get
her
off
out of
production, please. But today, like Milo said, we are so excited to have someone special with us today that's going to share her story about being in a blended family, being a part of a blended family, as well as having her own. And it helps to remind us that every family has a story. And not that only that we have a story, but every story that we have, God
matters to God,
it
right?
matters to him.
Absolutely.
You know, and he's always in it. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce Lauren to you guys. And Lauren's going to share her story with you.
Yes. So welcome, Lauren.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Yes, indeed.
You know, Lauren has her own podcast too. She's going to plug that in a little bit, y'all. But Lauren, one of the things we want to start off with, especially in the first part of this, is tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, let's see. I don't know where to start. However,
I'm going to help you.
Look, I'll start from the beginning.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go back.
On May 11th, 1987, at I don't know what time.
Yeah.
I was born.
All right.
No, so let's see. My story starts a little bit at 4 months old. I was adopted by two wonderful people, my parents, and I came from a family of 5 in total kids. I was the 4th out of 5, and I was the only one who was adopted. Grew up not knowing them, wound up meeting them in my 30s, and so I've had to navigate through having siblings, new parents in my 30s, getting to know people, getting to know where I came from, which is mostly why I opted into trying to find them and locate them. Let's see, I've been married for 7 years the first time, and divorced. Out of that marriage came 3 kids. I went into that marriage with a 2-year-old at the time, who's now 20, my goodness. And then was single for some time, learning myself, growing my relationship with God. And then now I'm remarried again.
Wow.
Been married for going on 3 years.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you. Time flies. And then out of that marriage came a little baby. The last Mohican. The final.
He heard us at the last.
The last. No more. The Lord knows that we come up to agreement. We done. Done. So yes, little baby from that, and here I am living in what I never imagined, but living in God's grace. That's all I can say. It's grace and favor, and that's my story.
So what we want to do?
That's the fast track. Yes.
So what we're going to do is backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to try to pull on a few threads of your story.
Okay.
Because, for example, after everything you went through, the things you was going through, out of all that, what surprised you the most?
What surprised me the most? Let's say there's a couple things that surprised me out of all of that. Can I say all of them, or like do I gotta pick one?
It's on you.
Okay.
However you want to say it.
It surprised me that I actually met my family, had siblings. I never it was just a forethought. Like growing up, I just kind of always imagined what that would be like, and then to finally get to a day where I'm living it and understand what happened, why it happened. That surprised me, because in my wildest dreams, I don't think I ever imagined. I remember being a little girl just fantasizing about what my family was like. I didn't imagine being 1 out of 5 kids at all, for sure. So that surprised me. Getting divorced surprised me, shocked me for sure. When you get married, you don't think divorce,
Right.
especially when you're head over heels and you believe you're in love. I never thought that I would overcome that, but I did. Just part of the story. And then actually getting remarried again and it being completely different, and having someone meet me exactly where I was at, and growing and actually having a spouse who loves God just as much as I do. And that shocked me, coming from all the hurt and pain that I had endured over the 36 years of life. Actually living in what I always imagined my life to be like. I thought after divorce that would never be able to happen, and it happened.
Okay.
I can't even imagine what it was like, finding out about your biological family. Now, how did that whole thing go? Was that something you were interested in, you shared with your adopted parents, or there's something that they shared with you at a certain age, and then it came about, or?
So they told me when I was 9 years old. As a kid, I don't know if you know how to process that.
Right.
You get this information that you're adopted, and it's like, well, what do you mean? Like you're not my parents.
Right.
What we doing? How we get here?
Yeah.
So I really don't remember too much before my parents telling me that. I think in that moment, my whole everything changed. What I knew as life to be, it just became something totally different. So going through that, I was just like, okay, one day I'll find my family. So I never knew when the right time would be, because I didn't want to upset my parents. I didn't want to offend them, because I'm grateful and appreciative of everything that they've done for me, the life that they've afforded me, and just the love and support that they've given me throughout my life, even when I felt like I didn't deserve it. So I didn't know when the right time was to say, hey, I'm curious about this. But I just, by the time I got to 29, 28, it was on my mind constantly, like, okay, I need to find out who I am. And it just coincidentally happened that a friend of mine worked for the DC court systems, and she helped me process the paperwork and everything. She was like, this is going to be your gift for your 30th birthday. I'm going to help you. I hinted at it with my parents, but again, I teeter-totted that line because I didn't want anybody's feelings to be hurt. But they, they gave me their blessing and everything. It was like, if this is what you need to do for you, do it. So for my 30th birthday, that was what I did. I met them in 2018. Shortly after I turned 30, I had met them. So I've known them for 8 going on 9 years now.
Wow.
So and it feels like we've never missed a beat.
Good.
But it also coincidentally happened as I was getting divorced. And I had a lot to sit in. So it happened when it was supposed to happen. I think God lined that up, the timing and everything. He knew what I needed to be able to transition into his will for me in that season. So
when you mentioned your parents, one thing that came to my mind was the fact that they weren't intimidated, and if they did, you didn't know it. Because some
Right.
parents would have been, they left you, you our baby.
Yes.
And no, that's not going to happen. We're not going to say anything.
Nope.
But kudos to them.
Yes, they
Kudos to
are.
them. Because that's an identity thing.
Yeah.
Like to your point.
And I always, when I look at my parents and I think of just one, it takes a strong set of people to even take on somebody else's child.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I felt a lot of times I didn't deserve the love that they were giving me because I was. I don't even know the words to use for it.
You were cutting up.
I was cutting up. That's what I was. I was cutting up, and I ain't ashamed to say it, but I was cutting up. And my parents have loved me the way God loves us, and He unconditional, literally. They've had their hand on me. They've been with me through thick and thin, and have never once turned their back on me.
That's good.
Ever.
Awesome.
That's good. And that shows you that they were comfortable with who they are
Yes.
and their identity.
Yep.
So it wasn't a big deal with them.
Nope.
And who knows, at some point they said, at some point we're gonna have to release her so she can find out who she is on that side. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what would you say was your biggest challenge? Because you gave us a lot about your story. Not only were you adopted and found your biological family, but then when you got married with the child. So you started your marriage with a blended family, right? So then it's a lot to this that I'm giving you the process to think about. You started your blended family, when you first through your first marriage, and then from your first marriage to your second marriage, you started another blended family. Let's talk about that, because sometimes people don't realize blended families. It's not just a one thing. Sometimes it's multiple before your children actually grow up in things. So let's talk about that.
All right. Getting married the first time with a child. I was young. 20-ish. Not 20, but maybe 23, 24. When I met him, my daughter was 2. But I was in a place where I was searching for something. At that time, like I said, I didn't know my family, my biological family, so there was a void there. And searching for love. I probably didn't love myself the way that I do now, for sure. So, you're looking for something to fill those voids. You don't have the words or maybe the exact emotion of what it is, but you just know something is missing.
Yes.
So I was looking for somebody who was going to accept me and the child, and he came along and showed that from the beginning. So it didn't take much for me to be like, oh, okay, this is it. This is the thing. But I probably didn't take the time that I needed to, especially with a child, to dig deep into that person and how they would fit into my life and my child's life. And that I was selfish in that moment. It just was, this person makes me feel this way, and that's all that matters.
Right.
So
in
that moment, that's
Gotcha.
all that mattered. So it made me feel good. It filled the void, temporary, but just like a Band-Aid. If you don't fix whatever it is, you can keep re-injuring yourself. And so the void started to come back.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, this is not exactly what I thought it was. And I gave him, in that marriage, my ex-husband, I gave him a lot of power and control over not just my life, but my child's life. And looking back in hindsight, I should have considered her a lot more in that. And because her dad is very present and has always been present. But in my mind, I wanted my own family. So I would let my want, not necessarily need,
Absolutely.
but I let my want for having my own family override everything. It just trumped everything, even though her father was present. So
absolutely.
Looking back, I should have definitely done a lot of things different, but you know, you live and you learn.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, you said a couple of things there that kind of stuck out to me. One, when you said you was 23 and you were still searching, and you really couldn't find out the words to say how you felt what you was going through. You're an adult. There are children who go through that blended family, those divorces, those separations, and sometimes we have an expectation of them to come on out of that. And here we're talking about an adult. They really can't identify or articulate those emotions. So how can we expect a child to feel that way going through that type of separation? The second thing is, and we talked about that in season 1, was how to date after you come out of something. Because sometimes, like you just said, I had a need. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be in a relationship, and if we're not careful, we can find ourselves neglecting that child, who's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like what you said when you talked about that, where you said, you know, I could have done things differently.
Yeah.
And I know we all have that same story where we could have done things differently, you know, had we had the chance. But even through that, God has His mercy and grace on us. Even through that, He will still bless us in spite of ourselves. But we have to learn from it.
Yes.
You know, you gotta learn from it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might not learn after the first time. You know, thank God you have. You know, some of us have to do it a second time or a third time or whatever have you. I know for myself, I had to learn that lesson. I wasn't married before, but I had children out of wedlock before I did get married the first time. And then when I got married, I had my second child already. And so now that I'm married now, we didn't get to, you know, we weren't thinking about having any children because we had enough by then. But I still wish I would have done some things differently, because just like people talk about curses on families, I'm not saying a blended family is a curse, but sometimes that trend can happen, continue to happen, because those children see what their parents went through when it came to a blended family, where mom did this, you know, and as a child, they're trying to decipher what mom and dad is doing, and they might not get it right. But yet they'll tend to make that, you know, do the same pattern, have that same pattern in their lives, and start a blended family, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we really need to be careful about.
I thank God because He's allowed my daughter to see so many different chapters of my life. So while she saw me break down in the midst of everything, she also saw me rebuild myself. So she's experienced a lot at a young age. As far as me growing up, I lived in this fairy tale world because I never experienced hurt, heartache, and pain other than my parents telling me I'm adopted. I didn't even understand people could be mean. I didn't even understand people could be nasty, like, you know, in adult land. As a kid, everybody's like, you know, you kids, y'all have y'all little beefs and all that other stuff. But as an adult, I didn't think that people could hurt you like in that way, in that capacity. So for my daughter to be able to experience my mistakes, but also see me blossoming, grow into the person that I am today, I think it shaped her view of things. And you know, me being able to draw closer while she was still young to God and build that relationship, she's seen my maturity level change, which in turn has changed our dynamic and allowed us to have different conversations. So while she's only 20, she understands what I learned in my 30s, you know, from a 20-year-old aspect.
Yeah.
However, it's still good information to have at that age because it shapes decisions and the way that she's gonna date and have her future. So it's like kids is the furthest thing from her mind. Now, I got other kids, so we don't know how they're gonna receive that. And I hope that, you know, our relationship those relationships can be such as me and my daughters. But I truly am grateful for the fact that she's been able to see those transitions and then see where, okay, a not so good relationship, and then see this relationship where this person respects not only my mom, but also respects me and her other kids as the individuals that they are. And they treat us with the same respect that they treat their own child and my mom as well. So I think her being able to see that definitely has shaped how she dates, what she's willing to give to someone, and how she's willing to do it, and also not settling, because she's seen her mom settle. And you know, kids are funny because the way they see things is they see it from a completely different lens than how we see things. And kids are, they say you want to know the truth, ask a child.
You know what? And they might misinterpret stuff, but they see everything.
But they see everything. And
stuff you think they don't see.
Oh
they
my
see
God, the way that Layla has had some of these candid moments with me, especially after the divorce, is like, Mommy. She told me one day, she said, you gotta stop being weak. I need you to stand up.
Wow.
And I'm like,
wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Here is my, at the time, probably 17, 18-year-old daughter, and she's like, girl, this is not what we do. We got to get this together. And I'm like, okay, you right.
That's what you had already put in her. You had already poured that. You already planted that seed, and that seed was starting to grow.
And
you had watered it, you know, and God was waiting for the increase.
Yeah. So through that divorce process, my girl was, she was my rock. It was like, my mommy done took care of me. It's my turn now to take care of her. At a young age, she stood and stepped up, and it was like, all right, my mom can't be strong right now, but she done taught me how to be strong. I'm going to be strong for enough of, And
so, I got a question then, as we transition into that last one. What emotions were you dealing with after you married and had the boys? And now you're going through a divorce. Because here we are again, a blended family, another blended family. We're going to blend again. We're going to blend some more.
Blend some more. Keep blending.
So how was your emotions like that? Because a lot of times we talk about the kids' emotions, but the parents have emotions too.
Yes.
And
yes, that's a lot.
Parents have emotions, especially if you got children. Okay, this thing didn't work like I thought it would work. Here I am, Lord.
Divorce is what drew me closer to God. Because I was so broken that I didn't know what to do, and emotions were everywhere. My oldest son has seen his mom cry. He has seen his mom probably almost lose her mind. And he's watching his dad go through whatever emotions and experience the divorce the way that he was experiencing. And he's old enough, he's probably 10 at this time, to see all of that. But as far as me, I didn't know what I was feeling. I just felt like I felt a great sense of abandonment, probably almost resurfacing. It felt like that 9-year-old girl whose parents told her she was adopted again. You know, what you know is no longer.
Right.
It was
forget all
just
that.
Let's
erase all that.
Literally, I'm like to him, like, so you really just, were we in the same marriage? Because the things that I'm hearing, you know, the way that you're treating me is like, wait, but I thought everything was all good. It was almost, and which is crazy because it's like, until something triggers you and you're injured in a way that you've been injured before, you don't realize what hurt and pain you're really, like I said before, I didn't know how to explain what I was feeling. I just knew I had a void.
Yeah.
Wow.
And something needed to fill it. And at that time it was being filled. But then the moment that you are re-injured and triggered to whatever traumatic event has happened to you in your life, it's like, oh, okay, this is what I feel. Abandonment. Like,
Wow.
you're going to leave me just like my parents left me. You know, like, you're doing the same exact thing that somebody has already done to me. They've given up on me. They've just said, well, I don't want this no more, and that's the end of it. So I'm navigating through this like a child.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like a 9-year-old, a broken, hurt 9-year-old.
Right.
And what does a 9-year-old do? They have temper tantrums,
Yes.
but I'm an adult, so I can't. I'm not kicking and screaming, but I'm sad. I am like my emotions are everywhere. I'm at work. I can't concentrate. I can't sleep. I'm an adult, so I'm trying to go into fix it mode. But what do you need me to do? And so now I'm losing myself even more to this person. But then it became resentment.
Wow.
It became, you're really treating me like this after everything I've done. Like, I've bent over backwards and forwards, and me?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because my parents have taught me to love unconditionally. So I'm trying to do that. But it comes to a point where you can't love somebody more than you love yourself.
Right.
And so those emotions that I began to feel, I'm like, I don't want to feel like this no more, because now I'm going to do something that I regret.
Right.
Because you are making me feel this little, this small.
Right.
So I had to really sit there and like, all right, God, like, what we gonna do? I went in that basement, I made me a war room, and I'm like, okay, I don't know where to start because I done got so far from you, but you got to bring me back. Because what I'm gonna do and the things that's going through my mind,
Right.
Yes.
it ain't gonna be good for nobody. It's
Absolutely.
like, it's either gonna be you or it's gonna be me.
So
You know, so I had to navigate through that with a young girl watching me whose father this is not. And then I'm watching him treat my child a certain type of way, and I'm like, oh, no, we ain't gonna do that.
Right.
And then you putting my other kids in the middle of it.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
we ain't gonna do that. So Lord, what you gonna do and how you gonna do it? But whatever it is, you gonna do it. And I'm like, God, you got to help me through it.
Yeah.
Like, you gonna have to help me through it. So my emotions with that just went through a up and down roller coaster until you can't hear where what broke you is. Like, so I had to separate myself from it. Be strong enough, because that was hard enough as it is, because you're taking your kids away from what it is. But I also had to consider my daughter. Like, she's mixed up in this, and she don't deserve to be mixed up in this. And we're not gonna be making her feel uncomfortable. I'm already uncomfortable, but this is unfair to her, and not only to her, but to everybody involved in this.
That's a rough spot, because I know for me, been divorced, and when I got out of it, first thing that came to my mind was my boys. But one of the things that really stuck with me was I failed.
Yeah.
I failed, and I, like you, I went into this thing with expectations of, you know, and we get that from different happily ever after and all this other kind of stuff. Now I understand it takes work, and two, you should take your time. But the reality of it is, it really jacked me up to the point I had low self-esteem.
Yeah. I had somebody. Not somebody. I had my ex-husband tell me, ain't nobody gonna want you with 4 kids. So when you hear that over and over, it's like,
girl, I heard that story.
Hold on, dang.
I can't. If I had $1 every time I heard that story.
I'm just like, of all people, you should want somebody, because this didn't work. You should want your kids to be happy, me to be happy, because if I'm not happy, them kids not gonna be happy.
Absolutely.
But then you learn misery really love company.
Yes.
And when somebody will, if you are not mentally strong enough, somebody will bring you down.
That's it.
Yes.
And you will miss out on all your blessings.
Absolutely.
You know what God has for you. So blending up the second time around, it was like, okay, first of all, somebody gonna have to respect you. If they don't respect you the way that you respect yourself, it ain't even no need to intertwine. Secondly, the respect that they're gonna have for your kids, you don't get to come and dictate in my kid's life and think, or even show up and think that you gonna just override the fact of there is another parent that they do have present. So I considered that the second time around, and blending. It was like, okay, Lauren, you first of all, this person gotta meet your godly checklist. Like I put me a checklist together, and I'm like, okay, do he love the Lord? Because if he don't love the Lord, it's just gonna be a. It ain't gonna. We gonna stop right there. It's just you're not gonna be on the track that you gonna send me somewhere that I don't want to be, and I don't want to go back down that road no more.
Absolutely.
So I considered a lot in blending the second time, but also asking God for His direction and His guidance as I thought about making that step. I didn't consult with God about anything the first time. That was Lauren's will for her own life.
Gotcha.
The second time around, I was like, God, you gotta let your will be done, okay? As you said.
Let me shut Lauren down.
You got to make it done here on earth as you said it was done in heaven. So come on, what I gotta do, who I gotta meet, where I got to be at, and we're gonna do this right this second time around.
That's right.
So
Absolutely. Well, that was awesome. We really appreciate you coming today and sharing your story. I mean, and you already gave them some tips, but I just want to ask you one more question to give to the viewers that are listening. What gives you hope for blended families today? What gives you hope?
God.
Amen.
God. If you are blending your family, make sure that He's already within you, but make sure He is present. Make sure He is your source. Make sure He gives you guidance and direction, and you are obedient and listening to it.
Yes, that's good.
And you have no choice but to succeed at that. If God is in it, there's no limits. It's real.
I got all choked up.
Y'all got a real
But hey, look.
So true.
The first part of this, you had a powerful story. You had a powerful testimony. And y'all, what we did was allow her to share, she shared her challenges, her setbacks. We're going to take a step back for her comebacks, but we're going to do the comebacks when we come back. So we're going to step back for a minute, and then the second part of this, she's going to share with you the victories in the things that God guided her through. So hold on, stay with us. We'll be right back.